What up, what up, what up? It's the PAC, man. All things physician associate. And in this video, I want to talk about travel PAs, man. Are they out there? Yes, they are. Let's get right into it. So, first, travel PAs make more than a local PA. Why? So a travel PA, the way that the practice sees it is that they don't have to pay you liability insurance. They don't have to pay you, health insurance, 401k, no benefits, right? No paid time off, nothing. So that leaves a lot more wiggle room to pay you extra. And on average, the average cost of benefits for an employee in a hospital is about $30,000 to $40,000, is specific to South Florida. And so if they have to pay you, if there's $40,000 left over, since they're not going to be giving you any benefits, then that leaves a little bit of extra money to pay you a little extra. Now you're probably thinking, well, as a company, why not just keep that money? Well, the problem is to find a PA that's willing to come and work for you, even though they know it's not a permanent job. Like, a PA wants security. Anyone really wants job security. So why am I gonna go work for you? I gotta drive, let's say, an hour to get to you, and you're not even guaranteeing that you're gonna need me next year. I'm like, So, all right, well, what if we pay you X amount more? Okay, now you're talking. So I'll be there. What time you need me there? Right? And that's where that extra money gets allocated to. So I can give you numbers about South Florida. The average pay for a PA in South Florida is about $50 to $60 an hour. I use hourly because if I'm going to compare it to a travel PA, they're going to probably pay you hourly. It's hard to pay you salary because as a company, I'm not sure if I'm gonna need you next week, so how could I pay you for a full amount? I don't know, work as needed. It's a per diem. And so, example of an average PA travel, at least as far as the one friend that's currently still doing it now, is $80 an hour. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, so that's that's pretty significant. That's $20 to $30 more an hour. Now that'll make. He initially took that job as a transition job. He's like, I'm just gonna do this because they need me right now. I'm just gonna do this until I find a full-time gig. And there's been a million full-time gigs have come his way, and every time he's like, yeah, that's how much you guys offering? Yeah, so I can't. That's a low. That's a little too low for me right now. So it's tough. It's tough. Like, once you're in that life, it's tough to get out of it because you get accustomed to that type of pay. And the only full-time job that's gonna pay you $80 an hour as a specialty is gonna be probably the emergency room, and that's another video in and of itself. So, travel PAs, it's not easy, partly because you're walking in, no one, they're paying you too much to train you, so you're kind of walking into a hot pan, and you're just gonna have to sizzle. So you don't know how to use the electronic medical record system, figure it out. Whatever it is, you need to figure it out, because we're not paying you and training you. And so it's a little tricky, but it's doable for sure. It's dependent on your level of comfort. And so that's one. Two, what type of practice will hire a travel PA? It's usually going to be like an urgent care. ERs do it all the time, but they won't hire you individually. They'll hire a staffing company, and the staffing company will place you there. Like, it'll go through a staffing company. In urgent care, yeah, they may use a staffing company as well, but they'll call you directly and say, hey, do you want to come and work as needed? And so urgent care is really the main place you'll find this type of travel, partly because you don't like I'm gonna use it as an example to your primary care doctor. Let's say your family doctor or your pediatrician or your, I don't know, your dermatologist, whatever the case. When you go see your pediatrician, you expect to see your pediatrician. Worst case scenario, your pediatrician is unavailable that day and someone else in the practice sees you that you know as well, right? You don't want strangers seeing your kids, or if you walk in to see your doctor and your doctor's not there, you're like, who are you? This is a place where I've developed a relationship with my provider. So where's my provider? Same thing applies for you as a travel PA. A family medicine place, it very rarely is going to ask you to just, hey, can you come and see our patients? Like, no, those patients are wanting to see their doctor. It's about relationship. Family medicine is about relationships. Pediatricians, relationships. Dermatologists, relationships. Like, you get to know your doctors. An urgent care, if you're in pain and you're like, oh gosh, I don't feel so good, and you just walk into an urgent care, you're just happy to see anybody in a white coat. And so that's a perfect place to place a mid-level provider. You don't know who you're seeing. As long as your pain goes away and you feel better, hey, that's good enough. And that's really where the travel PA is where you'll mainly find the travel PA. Additionally, anything in higher acuity, you'll find this. For instance, ICUs love to use, they use travel PAs as well, but just like the emergency room, they typically stick to staffing companies. And the reason why they stick to staffing companies is because you're letting the staffing company do all the hard work. So basically, they're vetting you to make sure that you're most qualified for this position. So if I call a staffing company and say, hey, I need a PA next month and to be here for 3 months because one of our PAs is going into maternity leave. Okay, perfect. I don't have to start putting my position up on Indeed and Monster and LinkedIn and try to find someone to fill the position. I just have to call up the staffing company and say, these are the dates when I need the PA present. And let the staffing company go out of their way to find, let's say they already have a list of 60 mid-level providers that they work with. They just have to hit them up and say, hey, which one of you all very well qualified individuals, which one of you are available to work this shift at this pay? Or, so it's easy. So they just typically stick to staffing companies. It's just easier. And plus the staffing company keeps all the ducks in a row as far as that PA's accreditation, as far as their licensure, their certification, all that stuff is up to date. So, their DEA license, their CMEs, their ACLS, PALS, whatever's needed is already up to date and being monitored through the staffing company. Now, if I'm bring you in, now I have to, I need you to upload and send me all your stuff just to make sure they're all up to date, and it's a lot of unnecessariness. So it's a lot of them would rather just stick to a staffing company. But either way, man, I'm about to get to work, so I'll talk to you guys, man. Any questions you have, you already know where to leave it. Love you guys. Stay blessed.